Do you ever give yourself tough love? Do you ever talk to yourself about, in a loving way, but about things that you know you need to do? Do you ever say to yourself the things that you know you need to do, that, give yourself this pep talk to do something that maybe you're afraid of, but you know you need to do? Maybe it's things that you know you need to do that will improve your life or change your life in a dramatic way, but you haven't been doing them. So if you are somebody who does not talk, if you don't talk to yourself about, giving yourself a pep talk, motivating yourself through your own self talk, telling yourself the reasons why you should do something. And so this week, this is something that I've had to do this week, and I've done it, periodically, but really in a major way this week, because there's something things that I need to do in my business and I haven't done them. And I started to try to figure out, and this is what I normally do with my clients, but I don't do with myself nearly as much as I realized this week, but is to sit down and say, okay, what is it that I need to do? Or what is it that I'm afraid to do? And so this was something that I was afraid to do. And so you make this list about what is it that is, what are you afraid of? And so one side you have, what are you afraid of? And then the other side, you start thinking about, if you don't do this thing, how will your life be after that? And so, basically, if you don't make the changes, do the things that you need to do, your life is going to stay the same. And so most of us want our lives to improve, not stay the same or get worse. And so, but on the side where you have this fear, your fears, what is it that's keeping you from taking the steps that you need to take? If it's fear, so I started to see that, one of the things was that, of course, I was fearful. I was fearful of what was going to happen. I was fearful of I was afraid of failure. So I was afraid to fail. I was afraid to go through do these things, and then, afraid that I was going to fail. I was afraid of success. So if it worked, then I would have to, actually go through it and do the things that I need to do. And then there was some reluctance because of the time frame that it would take to see results. And so, most of us want to do something, take action, and we want to see results like in 5 minutes. We want this microwave, right? This microwave response. And so in this case, it could be potentially 90 days, this crock pot response, right? And so most of us don't want that. We want something quick, fast, in a hurry. And so that was something that was keeping me from doing what I need to do, because I was just afraid of, what I was I didn't want. It was a reluctance in the time frame until I could see results. And so think about this for yourself. What is it that's keeping you from doing what you want to do? And so also on this list of kind of fears, this wasn't really a fear. It was just that I didn't want to do it. I would rather do something else. And so we have to, set ourselves up for success and do the hard things, and just know that if we are going to achieve anything that's worthwhile, we're going to have to make a commitment to do the hard things, to do the things that we don't want to do, and on a regular basis, right? It's not going to just be a one time, you're going to do something that you want to do and then everything's going to be fine. No, on a regular basis, we're going to have to, take a step out of our comfort zone and do some things, some hard things. And so it's just, this has been, what has been happening to me this week. And so I invite you to just think about for yourself, if you are not doing what you need to do, or there's things that you need to do in your life and you're not doing them, you have to ask yourself why, and just make yourself a list. What is it that's keeping me from doing it? Is it, one of mine was rejection. I was afraid of being rejected, and I was afraid of being rejected kind of over and over again. And so you got to get used to, people are maybe rejecting your idea, not rejecting you. And even if they're rejecting you, in a lot of cases, we're not going to ever see them again, even though, reality did hit me that rejection does sting, right? It hurts. We don't want to be rejected. We want everybody to like us. But it's so unrealistic, right? It's just not realistic. Everybody's not going to like us. Everybody's not going to accept our ideas. We're all different, and it's great that we're different. It just keeps things interesting, gives us kind of variety in life. But rejection is just part of it. And, I knew that going in, that it was just, rejection was part of it, but I still don't want to be rejected, right? But, some of it is, you just got to talk to yourself. You got to get into the habit of talking to yourself over and over again about, it's some mindset work, right? Being an entrepreneur, business owner, I think all of it's mindset. I think probably 10% is skill, but or 90% of his mindset is it's believing in yourself. It's taking the action after believing in yourself. I mean, it's taking the action before you actually believe in yourself. It's believing that you can offer something to someone else, that you have value, that you can offer, that you can help somebody. It's all mental. Well, a lot of it is mental. Majority of it is mental. And a lot of us business owners can have trouble believing in ourselves. Even leaders, we can just have trouble believing in ourselves. We can have trouble in doing things that are uncomfortable. We can have trouble in having to deal with someone who is different from us, who has more, business, more successful, who could be seen as intimidating. Maybe it's a celebrity or a billion-dollar owner, business owner, or multimillionaire, whatever the case may be. We have these struggles. And so just think about for yourself, what is really happening for you. And then so for me, when I think about, I just kind of went after I made the list, I started thinking about, okay, rejection, what can I do as far as rejection is concerned? And the truth is, there's nothing I can do as far as rejection is concerned, except to remind myself that I may never see this person again. I may never talk to this person again. This is just one person out of, a billion people in the world. And so they rejected my idea, not me. Or maybe I approached them at the wrong time. Maybe the timing is wrong. Maybe they don't have the budget to work with me. Whatever the case may be, you have these reasons why. And so it's to help you kind of get to so you can move forward. And then the next one, fear of failure. And so the important thing to remember about failure is that none of us want to fail, right? We don't want to be seen by other people as a failure. But the truth is that people who are really successful, they fail over and over again. And failure is just part of the process. And, when you're reminded that failure is part of the process, that it's not just us that's failing, other people are failing as well, it helps you kind of move forward. It helps you just kind of be reminded, okay, I'm not the only one that's failing. I'm not the first one that's failed. I'm not going to be the last person that failed. And that every person who achieves greatness, every single person that achieves greatness has to go through this route. They have to go this path. They have to fail. No one is successful the first time. And so just kind of be mindful. And then just as you're going through your list, you just start talking through or writing through each one of the things that's holding you back, each one of the things that's keeping you from doing what you need to do. And then you just start taking action over and over again. And so this is just something, a little exercise that you can do for yourself. Just make a list of what's keeping you from doing what you need to do. Is it fear, rejection? Is it fear of failure, fear of success, fear of criticism, rejection? What is it? What's keeping you from doing what you need to do? And so just kind of go through the list, and then after you get through making a list of each one, then just take one at a time and say, okay, why am I afraid? Or what's the worst thing that could happen? Fear of failure. Or what's the real thing what's behind the fear of failure? Is it, and then some of it is it's just what it is. We're just going to be rejected. Everybody's not going to like us, and as you go through this process, you start to see, okay, this is just what it is. This is what, every time I get ready to do something grand or major or important, I'm going to have to deal with rejection. Every time I get ready to do something, I'm going to have to deal with fear of failure. Every time, you kind of go through this process where that some of these things are just part of the process. So you just go through it so that you can grow through it. You go through it so you can see that you're going to learn a lot on the other side. Maybe it works the first time, maybe it doesn't. But you just kind of go through it, and then you just kind of see, okay, you start reflecting back after you do it, but you got to put the reps in. You got to do the things that you're afraid of. You got to do the things that you don't want to do. And that's part of, people that are successful. They just keep doing things that they don't want to do so that one day they can do things that other people who didn't do those things, can't do. And so just be mindful. Think about it for yourself. What is it that's keeping you from doing the things that you know you need to do?